It's okay.
Welcome back, everybody, to Two Deans and No Waiting. My name is Dean.
My name is Dean, and we're going to kick it off.
Yes.
You ready to go?
Oh, my gosh, we have so much stuff going on. So much, yeah, I know. Go ahead. You want to go first? Go ahead.
Oh, I can go first.
With the news, because there's so much shit going on
Let's see. Well, right now, let's see. Trump just bombed an oil port in Yemen about an hour or so ago. I don't know. It's crazy. It wasn't on my signal. My signal chap app.
Gee. Thank God.
I know. Again.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm sure the agency would love to know that.
But here we go again. We're just killing people indiscriminately.
Okay.
He's going after the Houthis.
Right. But this is what I don't understand. I was going to start off this segue with Trump blocks a major strike on Iran because Israel has been has a boner to go to war with Iran. I mean, Netanyahu is dying to go to war with Iran. But then you tell me this. There's so much uncertainty going on that I'm really confused that he's stopping a major war, but then he's dropping bomb on Yemen you're talking about. So I don't get it.
Netanyahu wants to go to war with any Arab country he can find.
Yes, Netanyahu is a piece of something else.
He's a piece of shit.
And if it wasn't for if it wasn't for Tulsi Gabbard, we'd probably be at war right now because she's the one that convinced them. If you don't believe me, this is something even the New York Times wrote. So, the lamestream media. Right. And what I read that last night, and good sources say that, they averted a major war with Iran, but then you come in here and start with this crap. Yeah. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. 74 dead, 171 wounded.
And there's
we don't know if they're Houthis or not.
Well, they never do, man. They bomb insane. Weddings as collateral damage.
I know, it's crazy to me. I don't understand this again.
And I wanted to start out this segue by saying I give him credit and that administration credit for not going to war with Iran because this is something that the Zionists and people in this country want. Not everybody in his administration, but I'm sure there's some people. But then you start out with this, so I really don't know what to think of this whole thing, really.
Well, I never know what to think.
And I don't know if there's going to be a retaliation or what. But yeah, it's just an excuse because, somehow, some way I think somebody's possibly making money off all this stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Every time they drop a bomb, somebody's benefiting from it.
Well, oil is going into the Red Sea as well, so I mean that's another problem.
Oh, yeah.
I mean this is on and on and on and on and on. Never stops. I don't care who's in power. Right. I mean, we had the Democrat before. He was allowing Israel to do what they want to do. He's backing up Ukraine. It's not like I'm one-sided here.
Right. True.
I'm just against the killing. Stop the killing.
And trust me, if he was one-sided, I'd say something because I don't really like one-sidedness.
That's right.
And that's fine. And fuck, man, I mean, you really rain on my parade here because, I read the article that Trump stopped a major war between Israel and Iran. And if this happened and we would possibly looking at oil going up, probably $10 a gallon because 20% of the world's oil is shipped to that region, the Strait of Hormuz. Mm-hmm. If they were to create some kind of blockade,
oh yeah,
you think the economy is bad now?
Yeah,
but who wouldn't like that war would be China, and I explained that last time. But it's so funny that you say that, and now they're dropping bombs on. I mean, they haven't stopped, but Israel is a problem. They're a thorn in the side, and I do believe, AIPAC, which is the biggest lobby, I'm going to beat on that drum because that's, money, and it controls these politicians. And it's scary that this could escalate into something really freaking big.
Okay, and now Okay, let's go back to Israel. Let's just do that right now. We might as well. I mean, since Trump thwarted a war with that, but yet he allows them to just continue to kill babies and children and women.
That's what I don't.
I don't understand. I don't like it. And I don't understand it. I won't understand it.
And go ahead, because because I'm going to lead into something that has a lot to do with what we're talking about.
This is big. What I'm going to talk to you about right now. I was unaware of this, and as soon as I find it in my notes, I will tell you about it. And you're gonna shit a brick. I guarantee it, Dean.
Okay,
you are going to be
and
like,
this, and
you're going to be like, what?
And this has to do with the Middle East.
Has to do with Israel.
Okay, of course. The Zionists who shouldn't even be there.
Okay, for some reason I don't have it. I thought I wrote it down.
But let me.
But that's okay because I have it right here.
Okay, but let me elaborate while you're looking for that.
No, I have it.
Okay, because you know what I don't like is happening. There are college protesters around the country protesting the way the Israeli government's treating the Palestinians, and they're being targeted as terrorists. Some people are being, arrested.
You
Some
mean
people
here?
Yes, I mean here.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, that's called no more freedom of assembly. That's what it's called.
No more freedom of speech.
Listen, whether or not you agree with that, you have to let people say what they want. Because let me tell you something. Whether you're pro-Israel or you're anti-Israel, once his rights is taken away, I got news for you. So's yours.
So is yours, and they're going to come and take whatever they can from you.
Exactly.
Look what he's doing with these colleges right now. Telling them, well, if you don't act like we want you to act and teach classes that we want you to teach, then and follow our ideology, then we're going to pull your funding. What is that?
But this is the thing.
What is that?
Look, I have mixed messages with that.
I don't have anything mixed here. That's insane.
Look, the protesting, you should be able to protest. But as far as colleges like Harvard, go fuck yourself. And I'll tell you why. Because Harvard is one of those schools that has totally lowered their standard. Because to make things politically correct, we got to let a set amount of people in just to satisfy one side. I don't like that. You're a college. The smartest person should get in.
Well,
you
I
shouldn't
agree
have
with
to lower your... No,
I agree with that.
Exactly, but
Right.
that's what Harvard is doing. Not only that, Harvard is also boycotting people like us that are protesting this war. They're along that, right? They don't want anybody that's conservative going to their school and preaching their ideology. So, screw Harvard, because Harvard is also pushing transgenderism, and there's more than two fucking genders. Is this what you're teaching your kids?
How do you feel about
Screw Harvard.
Michigan State?
Michigan State, I like the Spartans. Are
Football
we talking
or
football
basketball?
now? What are we talking?
What I'm talking about is, so the Big Ten
Okay.
is forming themselves a little NATO thing. So if Trump goes after one of their schools, yeah, they're good. That means
Are
he's
you
going
serious?
after. I'm not making this up.
A way to divide the country up even more. See, and this is something you're telling me, so I'm just elaborating on what you're saying. I haven't investigated that. I haven't researched that. But if you're asking me, look, college should be to teach. If you want to go to college to learn, yes, you go to college to learn. But the problem is the ideologues, whether they're over here or over there, they're going to endorse what they think their idea and their philosophy is.
All right, as
you might not agree with it, I might not agree with it.
As far as federal funding goes, why? Why are they funding a college like Harvard?
True, we shouldn't give federal funding.
We shouldn't give them anything. The same thing with all these colleges, to be honest with you.
I agree with that.
Because,
we shouldn't. And you know what? I think Trump would agree with you on that.
How much do they charge for tuition for
It's
1 year?
It's ridiculous. Why are we giving federal funding?
We shouldn't.
And that's the thing. If you're getting federal funding, you're going to get a president, whether it's a Trump or an Obama, say, you know what? I'm not giving you any more money until you push transgenderism or you push something else.
Which is what I like about Harvard saying, "Hey, go fuck yourself," because they're not going to do it. They just said it. They have $50 billion.
Okay,
anyway.
and that's fine. But I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
But
crazy.
But you know what? I guarantee you, there's some bureaucrats in Harvard. They're like, God damn,
this is Harvard.
Yes, we need that money.
Yeah.
What do you need that money for?
I don't know.
To brainwash our kids?
Well, as far as that goes, that's up to the individual that wants to go there to study. I don't care about that. What I care about is the money part. That's insane. Why are we giving them money when? How much does it cost to go to Harvard?
Oh my gosh!
Over $100,000 a year,
Easy.
I guarantee.
On the cheaper end.
Yeah, I'm being conservative because I really don't know.
But Harvard has lowered their standard, which I don't like. It should be the smartest person to get into the school.
I agree.
Let's not insult all the other races by saying, "Oh, okay, you're a minority, so you're not as smart. We'll let you in. We'll let you slide." To me, that's kind of discrimination the other way.
Well, if they have the money, you should let it whoever wants to.
If they're smart, they should go.
Well, if they have the money.
Harvard is one of those prestigious schools, man.
Well, I'm just saying.
I mean, some of the greatest criminal presidents went there.
That's true. Okay, we'll get back to Israel now. This is what I found out today. And you know how I found this out? I was going through YouTube. I like watching the shorts.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Yeah, of course.
It's like Reels on Facebook, I think it's called.
You can get a lot of great assholes on that short.
Oh, absolutely. But this was a conversation between Piers Morgan
Okay, yes.
and Roger Waters. You know who Roger Waters is?
He's my idol. I've seen him. I've seen that. That's the one. Yes, he's Pink Floyd.
Yeah, he was the bass player.
He is so spot on with Israel and Hamas.
Okay, so listen.
I'm sorry, Israel and Palestine.
So listen to this.
He really reamed it to Piers Morgan.
So what he said was,
good for him.
He said that there was this organization called Zaka.
Yes. Go ahead. I've heard of it.
Zaka.
Yes.
What they do is what that translates from Hebrew is disaster victim identification. That's what it stands for. So whenever there's a disaster, they come in and they try and help people out. However, they were going under. Faced with insolvency before 7th of October, 2023.
Wow, what a coincidence.
Wow. Now, listen to this.
Yeah,
so they after that happened, they said they were given the job of retrieving the dead bodies after the 7th of October.
Yes.
And they started fundraising on the 8th. And they had raised over 50 million shekels, which is $13.7 million. So they're still around now. However,
all by the Christian right.
According to Haaretz, which is the Hebrew newspaper.
Right.
Okay, and this is Israelis writing this. They said that Zaka's conduct in the aftermath of the attacks was unprofessional, including mixing up remains and spreading misinformation about atrocities that never happened.
Oh, what do you know about that?
In order to raise money. And that is their own paper. Their own newspaper. This isn't from, magasupporters.com or whatever you want to think about.
Right.
This is their major newspaper. So, it was just insane. But, for me to find out from the bass player of Pink Floyd.
Yeah, he's smart. I watched that interview, Dean, and I'm so glad you brought that up because it's been such a while. That's before we started our podcast, just before we started. And I totally forgot about that. And you're right. I'll tell you what. He drilled Piers Morgan, man. Where the sun don't shine. I watched that whole interview.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up.
You gotta watch the whole.
I just saw a little part.
I watched the whole hour interview, and he does talk about AIPAC, and he didn't mention AIPAC. Just the beauty of that interview, how he said, there's forces that are. The powerful forces, the money. It was AIPAC, he was saying. And you're right. He exactly talked about that and how that organization took advantage of a situation to not only make money, but to create the propaganda, right, to get everybody behind them thinking that they were atrocity. Dean, I said before,
crazy.
I'll take it a step further. There's probably no freaking hostages either. It's all BS.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, no, that's what he's saying. The atrocities were a total lie.
No.
Well, yes. There were no, I watched the video.
They just said that they mixed up body parts.
No,
that sounds like an atrocity.
No. He also said that was all bullshit.
Well,
I watched the whole video. You got to watch the whole video.
Okay, but that I don't know. Stuff happened.
Well,
that did happen.
They're trying to. A lot of stuff was bullshit. I agree. You got to watch the whole video because he does say that. Well, he does say that. Oh, okay. How did all of this happen? And now they're taking advantage of the situation.
Well, yeah, I agree on that. But something did happen.
Well,
they've got
something happened. All right.
I've seen some videos.
They haven't stopped bombing since.
Well, I have. Yeah, I know that.
It's a false flag.
Oh, absolutely.
Anything you want to say about it? But
okay.
You bring up a good point, and
look
you
got
to watch the whole video.
I will watch
before I start throwing chairs in here.
What I'm saying though is something did happen. I did see other videos where, like at that concert, all of a sudden people started shooting. I know that this stuff could be staged. I know that, but still, something did happen.
Right.
I don't want that to go away. But what I'm trying to say here too is though, okay, is it okay for us it is us by proxy to bomb all those buildings where there's children in there and they can't get out and they may survive for a few days? That's torture. Then they die.
How many people did we kill in Serbia?
No, hold on now.
No,
is that okay for that to happen? Genocide is the answer?
No, of
Because
course
of
not.
whatever happened on September or October 7th.
It's an excuse, like 9/11.
It's insane.
It was an inside job. It's bullshit to justify for their war and to create the greater Israel, because that's what they want.
It sounds to me like they think it sounds, and I don't know this for sure, but it sounds like they seem to think they are way superior to the Palestinians.
Of course, that's a racist idea.
Well-
and that's what they believe.
Well, it's-
And they love and Netanyahu's, that's not even his real name, and he's Polish.
I don't know why he's there.
He's phony.
I don't know why he's in
Most
power.
of the people that are in power there are not even from the Middle East. They are from Europe. They're Eastern European Jews.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, I know
if we
that.
want to get technical,
Yeah, I
let's
know
get
that.
technical.
Well, yeah, I agree.
But-
and it's funny how Christians always say, "Well, God gave it to the Jews." Well, those are the wrong Jews.
Exactly. Not only that,
Those aren't the right ones.
they got to take that back. God didn't give it to the Jews. It was Baron de Rothschild and the blood money of England that gave it to the Jews. It has nothing to do with the God of Abraham. Trust me.
Yeah.
Nothing. But I totally understand.
This is crazy.
It's atrocities, and we've done it before. Look what they did to Serbia. I mean, and the hypocrisy, right? I mean, what does Serbia do? Protect itself. You know, atrocities were committed by the people from Kosovo and Serbia. It was a civil war, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And what do? We take one side as opposed to the other, and we start dropping bombs, killing innocent people. You know?
Yeah.
That's we've been doing that by proxy for 1,000 years, it seems like.
That was early 90s.
That was 94,
Mid-90s?
95,
Yeah.
all the way up
That's
until
Clinton.
the end of Clinton's administration. Right around that time after the fall of the Soviet Union. I was watching a great documentary on that
Oh, so
and how
bad.
the Albanians of Kosovo created this terrorist organization, and they started committing atrocities you never hear about. Started killing Serbians. The Serbs retaliated. I mean, it's tit for tat. And of course, you got the greato one percenters or the globalists there who control our country. They're, we got the solution. We'll give you bombs and start bombing each other. They fund both sides. They give weapons to both sides. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous, man.
That's crazy.
Right.
It's sad. It's sad is
I
what
know.
it is. Okay, let's talk about some other... let's stay in the Middle East, shall we?
You know, I definitely want to, and before you say something, I do want to talk about the college kids that are protesting.
Okay, go ahead.
This is bullshit. They're protesting against they're protesting against the genocide being
I don't even
committed
care
against the Palestinians.
I don't care what they're protesting.
Yeah, they should be able to protest, but,
Right.
but they're also being expelled from school.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Some people are being deported, like you brought up last time.
Well,
I'm all about if you're here. Okay, let's get something straight. If you're here illegally, you should be deported. No questions asked. But if you're a student, you got a visa, and you're just protesting, now I find it okay. Just because you're not on you don't have the same idea as the current administration or whatever. No, you should still be able to protest. And remember, I talked about this last time about how, they're becoming the enemy, and how back during the Bush-Cheney crime syndicate, if you protested against the war, you were a terrorist.
Well, that's what they're doing again.
And right.
They're saying they're domestic terrorists.
But yeah, and I don't
Or foreign
like
terrorists.
the left did the same thing during the shutdown. You don't wear a mask. Oh, people that don't like wearing masks, it's white privilege. Or you didn't get the vaccine, you're a terrorist. No, man, let's not go back. Let's not go back.
Well, they're doing it.
I know. And I don't like when, I don't care who does it.
You know what?
But you should be able to protest.
You should be able to protest, absolutely. And it's funny to me, here's Marco Rubio. Well, if you come in here and you say that you support Hamas, well, then we're not going to let you in here. We're not going to let you stay. We're going to deport you.
Okay.
Well, if I say I like Hamas, he can't deport me. I'm from here.
Not yet.
You're supposed to be, right, you're supposed to be, when you have a green card and all that, you're supposed to be trying to act like an American. An American has a freedom of choice, freedom of speech, freedom to protest. This is insane to me. Oh, no. We're going to let you stay here, but you better keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's called a police state.
Yeah, well, that's the scary part.
Well, and
see, that's another thing that Trump
hasn't
wanted.
changed. It hasn't changed.
Trump wants
It's
that
been
from the
like this.
colleges too. He said, "Oh, if you think that any of these people with visas here are starting to say stuff and stuff that we don't like, then we want you to report them too, so we can deport them." What is that?
See, he does confuse me, Because on one hand, I like stuff, on the other, I don't. But this is what I do like. He did avert a war. He did. He did get us out of a big war.
So he just started another one.
Well, hold on. I don't like that. I'm just. Let me finish before you get bitch mad.
Oh my God.
Let me. And I'm sure that's not the first time because his wife has done it probably a few times.
Give me a break.
Okay, but listen. Okay, and I was going to start out the segue like that. And thank you, Tulsi Gabbard, because she had a lot to do with it. She is anti-war, and I do believe that. Okay, anything can happen. Hold on. This, like you said, this bullshit war has been going on for a while. Okay, and it goes back to Biden. All right, and they inherited this, but they're not making it. Well, like I said, he confuses me. Okay, on one hand, he stops the war, but then we're going to deport you if you have a different,
Right.
If you're for Palestine, you're going to get red tagged. I don't like that.
Did Tulsi Gabbard come out and say she was anti-war?
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, through her speeches that I've been watching, even when she was a Democrat, and one reason why she left the Democratic Party was because of the war. Okay, the Democrats have totally done a 360. They're not anti-war no more. And that's why a lot of Democrats have left the party, including Kennedy. Kennedy had other reasons too. But Tulsi Gabbard, though, yes.
We'll get to him later.
From what I see and what I've just seen and read, I do believe it for now. But anything can change.
She was part of the attacks on the Houthis there in Yemen. She was in the chat.
Well, then there's a reason why they don't want to start the big one.
Well,
the big one is scarier
why?
Because that is going to send the whole world into the abyss.
If you're anti-war, why would you be part of these?
I don't know how.
I mean, I don't. She's part of the defense. What is she, defense secretary or something like that?
You still
I
have.
can't remember what she is.
Still have.
That doesn't make any sense.
You still have a lot of neocons, possibly in control, which they're the devil incarnate.
Well, yeah, but she's still part of it. I'm sorry.
Well, look, we can elaborate on this all day.
Well,
I just said, you know what? We would be in a worse situation if this administration, if Trump allowed Iran to bomb Iran. I'm sorry, Iran to bomb Iran. That's no. I mean, if Trump let Israel bomb Iran, we would be talking about something totally different right now. So that was averted. If you want to move on to another topic, I mean, we could talk about the Middle East
really.
Until
let's move on
until the prophets come back.
So, here we go. How about this? This will be short and sweet. Alabama. They want to pass a law displaying the 10 Commandments in every room, in every schoolroom.
I thought they already have that.
I think that was somebody else. That was Oklahoma or something like that. And then they want to ban pride flags in schools. Now, here's the thing. The 10 Commandments, these people are Christian, right?
So-called.
Oh, well, yes. Well, you can call them that if you like. But they claim to be Christians. If that's the case, then the 10 Commandments were fulfilled, because that's the law, that was fulfilled by Christ dying on the cross. So there's no reason to put the 10 Commandments up there. And also, the 10 Commandments are impossible for you to follow. All of us are guilty of every one of those things.
Are these public schools you're talking about?
Yes, public schools.
Not private.
No. And then they want to ban pride flags in the schools. Well, you know what? Here's the thing on this whole thing.
Screw your pride flags.
Well,
they don't really belong in the school.
Well, okay.
Do we have a heterosexual flag?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, well, all right. So that's the thing I have with
this.
Yeah,
I agree on that too. To be honest with you, I don't care.
We're going back to the statues thing. They were slave owners. Let's get rid of them. I mean, come on. Where does that stop? And now, the far left progressives are the reason why people like Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, let me tell you something.
People like
stay on target here.
People like Kennedy have jumped the boat. Go ahead.
What I'm saying though here is Alabama is worried about putting 10 Commandments up there when their reading level is so low. I think it's one of the lowest in the country. I think Mississippi is the only one lower than them.
That's what they're worried. Again, damn it.
Yeah, that's what they're worried about. Their priorities are so skewed here. Who cares about pride flags? And why? And like I said, if you're a Christian, there's no reason to have the 10 Commandments up. There's just none. You're not allowed to put. They're not allowed to put crosses, and you can't put anything Islamic up. So why would this be allowed? It's just crazy to me.
Well, Well, Dean, we have a city not too far from us that has probably the biggest population of Muslims outside the Middle East. And they do have mosques and they pray, and their right to religious freedom is number one.
Absolutely.
And I'm
fine with that.
I'm not a very religious person, but I do believe you should have a right to believe in what you want.
Absolutely.
Christians do. Now, putting them in the public schools,
No.
I don't know.
No.
I'm kind of torn with that.
I'm not torn.
Although, okay, I would rather see that than the pride flag. This is the thing. The pride flag has nothing to do with heritage, has nothing to do with nationality, has nothing to do. It's just that's my freedom of that's your freedom to choose how you want to live. That's a good thing. Why are we celebrating that? I have no idea.
Okay, so
and they're being, trust me, they're being weaponized.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
like a lot of us are. They're being
no,
weaponized.
I agree with that. But you're right with the flag. There's no reason to have that or any other flag, by the way, in the public schools. None but the American, because it's all funded by.
And the goddamn Confederate flag. Don't you
No
forget
Confederate
about that.
flag.
You're going to have that in there because it's the pride of the
stupid
South.
too. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life.
Well, look, it's their heritage down there.
It's not their heritage. I mean, it's their traitor.
Like I said, that we were taught the Civil War through the eyes of the North. We don't know what the South went through. Only what we read in textbooks and whatever in history books. Not like I said before. I don't justify for the 1%ers down there who owned slaves, but the rest of the Southerners didn't. And that all is an excuse. Well,
I'm not talking about slavery.
Well,
I'm talking about.
Well, let me tell you something. When you bring up the Confederate flag, that's what they talk about. I'm just thinking 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about slavery.
Well, I'm sure you were thinking about it.
Well, it doesn't matter what I was thinking.
Well, I'm just saying it's just a flag, right?
No.
I mean,
that should be there either.
Well, I mean, in
shouldn't be there either.
In history class, why not? To teach it, to show about it, just like the Nazi flag.
No,
that doesn't mean I got to put it on my car.
That's not what I'm talking. I'm not talking about in textbooks. I'm talking about flying it. The same thing with the pride flag. You don't want to put it on in the classroom wall.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
That's just dumb.
But for some people, the Confederate flag means a lot to some people.
I don't care.
I'm from the North. My parents are from Greece. This is your guys' history that I learned. So I'm just saying it. Don't attack. But Dean, don't. I'm playing devil's advocate.
But that by that rationale, though, that pride flag means a lot to some other people.
Yeah, but it's not anything to do with nationality or heritage. They didn't fight a war over that flag. It's a freaking lifestyle.
I agree.
I say we start a heterosexual flag.
Well, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, no flag should be in there but the United States flag. Okay. That's all I said.
Okay, whatever.
Anyways,
okay. Are we going to move on before I start flipping tables?
Let's move on.
Okay, back?
Yes, we are back. Okay.
Did you wipe your hands?
I did.
Okay, good.
Wait. Yes.
Did you? Okay. All right, now, to be fair, like I said, there's some things I like Trump does, some things I don't. This falls under the category of I really don't like this because it reminds me of Imperial England.
There's a lot I don't like.
You know, of course, that. I know that. So, you know what he's trying to do with people who've been in prison? He wants to deport prisoners.
Yeah, this is crazy.
To other countries.
Yeah, that's American citizens.
Yeah, this is something like right out of imperialist England, where they started a penal
it's called Georgia.
Yeah, no.
And Australia.
It's called Australia.
No, they started with Georgia, too.
Well, Australia, definitely. And I don't want to go that route, definitely. And it's against the Constitution. You just can't deport American citizens, regardless what crime they've committed, to another country. That's kind of police state-ish. So I wish he would back off on that. The people that are manipulating him into thinking that this is a good thing, I don't know whether or not he knows it's good or not. Maybe he does, but I don't think it is. I wanted to start out with that.
So the El Salvadorian president was here, right? And they had a hot mic situation. They didn't know the mic was on. But he said, yeah, I want to start sending homegrowns, meaning American citizens,
yeah,
but bad guys, to down to you guys. And he says, we're going to need more buildings. Do you think you could build about 5 buildings? And you know what the president of El Salvador said? Yeah, we have space. Unbelievable. Now, they're trying to get this one guy out from Maryland who was, they said he was a MS-13 member, but there's no They have no evidence of that whatsoever, except for one cop that said that he said that he was MS-13, but that cop was in drummed out of the police force because he's a dirty cop.
I'm not.
That's all they got.
I'm not for deporting any American people.
Right. He's married to an American citizen too.
Only. Well, that's perfect. I mean, shoot, I wouldn't mind deporting my wife at one time. She gets out of hand. Get the hell out of here.
Gets out of hand.
Right. Exactly. But in this situation, I just don't feel that. Unless you're here illegally, okay, then I don't mind. Deport all the illegals you can, but not the American people.
Right.
If this is something right out of the French colonies or something right out of imperialist England, I don't like that. So that's something I don't like.
Fascist countries.
Yeah, like a police state.
Yes.
And who's to say, another president doesn't come along and tweak that and say, well, now we're going to deport American people.
Right. Well, that's what he's trying to do.
But who haven't committed a crime.
Yeah, that's next.
Well,
they just don't agree with him.
Right.
Yeah, that's wrong. I'm
That's
so against that.
That's kind of dangerous territory there.
Kind of dangerous territory. It is dangerous.
Yeah,
you're in a minefield. My God, this is stupid.
Well, yeah, but how about
here's another problem. They sent that guy, right? They sent a whole bunch of people. Judge told him, "Hey, turn that plane around." He doesn't do it, and now he's holding him in contempt, and nothing is happening. What the hell? He just ignores the Constitution. He ignores judges.
And now those people on the plane, who were they? You're going back a few weeks.
Well, the people on the plane, I don't know if they were illegals or what, but
if they're illegals, then they got to go.
Well, I understand that, but what it was no due process. They never stood trial.
You mean this thing that we don't even have no more?
Right.
Have you?
Right.
Well, screw them. Screw them if they're illegal. Okay? Because if I don't have rights, you don't have rights. Have you ever been arrested? I know people that have. And you know that...
I've never been arrested.
Okay, well, I'm not going to admit anything on camera, but I know people who have, right? Okay, so, they don't even read your Miranda rights anymore. It's scary.
That's not good.
And this all stems from that stupid little thing called the frickin' Patriot Act.
Oh.
Which is another thing, and how damaging the Patriot Act was.
Why do we still have that?
Why we have it? Because a group of politicians back then scared the American people into believing that a bunch of Wahhabi soldiers were going to come out of the sewers and shoot you in the middle of Jefferson. We got to fight them there so we don't fight them here.
What I'm asking is...
And then the next thing you know, they take your damn rights away and I'm a good president.
Why do we still have it?
Because nobody's going to touch it once it becomes a law.
No, it needs to go away.
I know it needs to go away, and that was a topic.
That needs to go away, and NATO needs to go away.
Well, you were jumping around there, but I agree. But that was...
I'm getting heated.
I was going to... Well, shit. I think you're going through menopause.
Maybe.
You forget to take your estrogen?
I did not.
So I was going to talk about how damaging the Patriot Act was.
Yes.
And after 9/11...
Well, if they're continuing to use that...
And after 9/11, they created this quasi-police state.
Yeah.
It's just damaging to the country. And, it was one of the worst things. And to elaborate on what we were talking about and where we're at today, enemy combatants and deporting people, that's like branching out, right? From all that crap after 9/11. Another inside job, another bullshit thing that fooled the American people into 2 wars we still really haven't got out of. We're still in the Middle East. All it did was create a longer arm of the government control grid, and look where we're at now. We have, a bigger police state, newer ideas now. They want, AI is going to control everything, and, those jobs they say that are coming back?
No, they're not coming back.
Yeah, but there'll be AI.
Well...
They'll all be AI.
Well, I don't know.
All the jobs, supposedly, will be AI. Well, everything is going AI.
They're definitely going to be robotic because we're not going to do that. We don't have people to do that stuff.
No, they're not.
They're not going. Well, here's the thing. They're not going to be able to pay people to do that stuff. And if they do pay people to do that stuff, it will be astronomical, and the goods will be even higher than that.
I think like this.
They can't make this stuff like that. They just can't.
This is the thing, okay? They shut everything down. I already told you why. It was a beta test to see how the country and how the world would run without the workforce. once they opened everything up gradually, all the kiosks in every store were there. They knew right away that they don't need us. That's why the cancer rate and the myocarditis and all these things happening to people that are dying from that stupid frickin' vaccine that wasn't a vaccine. And there was another thing I wanted to talk
vaccine?
about. Exactly. The mRNA DNA therapy, whatever the hell you want to call it. The CDC now is recommending still that you should vaccinate your kid the corona vaccine. 38,000 kids died only in this country from that damn vaccine. And they're still endorsing it. I remember a few years ago, there was I can't remember which workout supplement it was, but it was killing people. This was about 10 years ago.
Workout supplement?
It was a workout supplement that had some kind of... Only one... Okay.
Just so you know, I mean, look at me. I'm not going to know what that is.
Or maybe you took too much.
No.
Okay, so this is the thing. I don't want to start talking. When you die, they should donate your body to science fiction. What do you want me to tell you?
Right.
Okay. Listen, you fell for that one. Okay. You walked into that. But what I wanted to say was they took this thing off the market like within a day. Only 2 people died out of like 20,000 that taken it. Where's the black labels on these vaccines? The CDC. Where's the FDA? You talk about organizations that should go, and another thing I like that Trump is doing, get rid of some of these organizations, especially the FDA. Look at the cancer rate. How can we not sit there and question all the chemicals they put in our food, all the additives, and the vaccine? For the last 5 years, 38,000 kids died and have side effects that no kid should have. You have to question the shot. Okay, and for the CDC to sit there and endorse this still, unbelievable. Unreal.
When did these you said how many children died?
38,000 died.
38,000. What year was this?
This within the last 5 years, ever since they've been pushing the vaccine. Not made up number.
Well, okay.
And that's just our country. It's not to mention the people that have been injured too. That's only 38,000 deaths. And you got to admit it. A lot of people I know that have been vaxxed, not one time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. It seems like the more they've gotten it, the more of compromise they've gotten. I just want to tell people in the next few weeks, possibly maybe next Friday or when you're on vacation, I am bringing somebody on the show who was affected personally by the shutdown, the lockdown, and I should say the protocol that they were using in the hospital that killed a lot of people. The ventilators and the remdesivir. You're going to be on vacation.
And I don't want to get into that anyway.
Well, nevertheless,
I don't want to. Well, that's just my.
Yeah, I know, because you get your panties in a bunch.
No, it's not that. I have no idea.
This is why this.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to speak on stuff I don't know. That's for sure.
I get it, but that's fine. This is why we're bringing her in. It'll be a great show. She's a first-hand account. She's been on other shows, and it'll be a really good show because it's going to be informative. Because there's things I want to ask, and I know personally other people that have been affected by the protocol. But I just wanted to lead into that, and that's something coming up that I think a lot of people would be interested in.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, the CDC and the FDA. The FDA, the FDA lets saccharin. Remember saccharin?
I remember saccharin.
Okay, cancer. Aspartame, cancer. All these additives.
Let me ask you this.
Keep going on and on and on.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, so we get rid of the FDA.
Right? We don't need it. What are they good for? They're paid off.
No, what I'm saying is, so then now these companies can use whatever they want.
They already do.
No.
What do you mean they don't?
They have taken stuff.
You know why they've taken stuff off? Because of people like you and I. No bullshit. No bullshit. They don't take that. Come on.
You just said it.
Because somebody died. One fucking person died. One person.
Just said.
Yeah, but I mean, what about all the other people that are dying from all the other shit?
Well,
the vaccine. How many people died from that? How many people have been injured? That was my point. Is one person died because they had an allergic reaction and they took it away, but 38,000 fucking kids die from the vaccine, and you're telling me to vax my kid? No, shove it up your ass sideways.
No,
this is
I
bullshit. No, man, this is what I'm saying. That's the problem.
This is saying
The CDC is not good. You know why? Because they are private. These guys are all insiders. They're working for somebody. Baxter Pharmaceutical. They're working for NIH. They're working for the World Health Organization. They're working for all these organizations that are pushing this because they're making money off it. And in the same process, they're euthanizing. I don't like it.
So this article says that 217,000 Americans died from the vaccine, the COVID one.
Oh, wow, that's even more than I said. But no, I just said kids.
You said children.
I said 38,000 children.
This is saying 217,000 Americans from the COVID vaccine as of 2023.
Okay, that's everybody. You're talking not only kids.
Right, Americans.
Okay, I'm just talking
died suddenly.
I'm just talking 38,000 children.
Right.
And this is my problem. Is when you have CNN should be held accountable. Fox News should be held accountable. And MSNBC should be held accountable. All these legacy media, all the lamestream media out there that was pushing it. And then calling us terrorists because we didn't want to take it.
There's
bull crap.
There's 8 states now with measles outbreaks.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
should we shut the whole country down?
Do we agree that these measles vaccines work?
I don't know. Do they? That's only 8 people. 8 states. But how many people?
Oh, I don't know yet. I didn't. It's just saying that there's 8 states, including this one.
This is the thing. This is why people don't trust, right or wrong. Look how many times the government lies.
Okay, I understand that. But
so
what I'm trying to tell you,
when they come out again and tell us there's going to be, let's say there's something that's going to be real, something actually genuine, not bullshit, not made up in a laboratory. I don't know. We're not going to believe them. We're not going to believe. Well, yeah, but I can't believe what they tell me.
Okay, so
especially if it's NPR.
Let's just say that if there is in fact 8 states with measles outbreaks, do we not agree that the measles vaccine works?
I don't know. Does it work?
Yes, it does work.
How do we tell you why? How do we know those people didn't take the measles vaccine? I don't know.
Okay, so measles was eradicated.
Was it?
Yes. Nobody had it. And then now, all of a sudden, there's all these outbreaks because people aren't getting those vaccines anymore due to misinformation.
Oh, misinformation.
That is misinformation.
But see, this is the thing. That's the same shit they said about the fucking vaccine, Dean. Okay. That's the same shit. You just read earlier how many thousands of people died. I'm not going to listen to the people that are saying misinformation.
Dean, I'm not talking about that right now.
I am talking about that because it's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
I can't trust them. They lost their credibility when they shut the country down and they killed innocent people because of the fucking protocol.
The measles was gone. And now it's back.
It's gone.
Due to misinformation on vaccines.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What happened to the coronavirus? Is it gone? Or was it even here?
Oh, it's still here.
Oh, it's still here? It's called the flu.
Yeah.
And they even call
it's a variant of the flu. That's not a secret.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I remember back in 2021. Hold on. I am.
It's the
same thing. Yes, it is.
The same thing.
It's a vaccine. They're telling you to get a vaccine to save your ass. Those same people were saying, if you got the vaccine, you won't get sick. Lie. If you got the vaccine,
they never said that.
Yes, they did.
No.
Biden came out and said it on TV.
That's not true.
And even that Dr. Fraudchi, who should be held accountable. There should be Nuremberg trials because this is crimes against humanity. They deliberate. That guy went over to Wuhan and showed them how to make this poison.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a piece of crap.
Listen.
Dean, look up Dr. Fauci.
I've looked him up.
And all the AIDS, whatever happened to the AIDS patients? Why don't they die anymore? You know why they were dying? They were dying because of the damn medication he made. That's why they were dying in the 80s. They were dying because of the medication he was giving them. The medication killed him. No, I'm not going to trust Big Pharma. I'm not going to trust the NIH, and I'm not going to trust the CDC.
I hope you don't get any of these things.
And the FDA. I'm going to die of something, probably of cancer.
No, it looks like high blood pressure right now.
Well, yeah, that's the next thing. And you know what the solution is? To beat your head in the head with this microphone, because that's what you deserve, buddy.
What I'm saying is, like polio. Did that vaccine work?
I don't know. We're going to go.
It works.
Did it work? Okay.
That one works.
Maybe that vaccine is good, but you got to admit.
So it's a measles one.
I don't know. The mRNA vaccine is crap.
I don't know what that is.
That is the one we're talking about with the 38,000 kids that died.
Okay.
The corona vaccine.
That one is iffy.
It's
I
garbage.
Agree. What I'm
but
trying
I'm
to
not
tell
going
you,
to trust
though,
them anymore.
Well, I'm just saying though that the measles and polio is different. That's all I meant. That's all I meant. You're not comparing apples to apples.
Yes, I am. It's still a vaccine, and who's pushing it?
Well,
the
Trump.
drug pushers.
Trump did.
I don't agree with that either. I know.
He's the one that did it.
I know, but he's not the one making money off it. Dr. Fauci did. He got kickbacks.
We don't know if Trump's making money off of that or not.
Look. I don't like Operation Warp Speed. I didn't like it.
Well,
but you had another president who used to crap his pants. They used to tell me, his mask will get bigger every time I see him. When you see him, I can take the mask off. You know, it's like they scared the American people, just like after 9/11. They had everybody hiding under the table. Remember the terror alert? The terror alert?
Yeah.
Don't trust the government. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the thing on those masks, too. What cracked me up was, okay, so where we work, we had a break room, and we were allowed to go in there and eat. We could take off our mask to eat, but after that, you better put it back on.
Oh, yeah. You walked into a building, okay? I walked into a restaurant.
You already compromised.
I walked into a restaurant, and they told me, okay, you can only wear your mask when you're standing up.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting down, you can take your mask off. So what? If I'm like parallel to the floor, I can't get sick?
It was stupid.
This is why people don't listen. They've lost their credibility. You could be right, but nobody's going to listen anymore. Nobody's going to listen because they continuously lie
listen to this.
Of propaganda.
So RFK Jr. Said some stuff about autism. He says, first off, we'll know the cause by September.
Well, maybe they will. I hope they do figure something out. It's not just paint chips.
They're gonna.
Why is autism so high, Dean?
I don't know. They're going.
No. Give me your opinion.
My opinion is
why?
Why is it high now?
No, why is it's been high the last 20 years? Why? It wasn't like this 50, 60 years ago.
Cousins? I don't know.
Are we talking about Alabama again?
Yeah.
I said the South around again, goddammit. Don't keep talking about it. No, serious.
No, I don't know why that's high. Okay, but I want to tell you, he says that they're going to find out by September. He's going to say it's vaccines. He's been saying that.
He's not the only one, though.
Listen to me.
But
he just hired a doctor who was fined $100,000 for medical malpractice. These guys are nuts.
And Dr. Fauci isn't nuts.
Oh my God. Not talking about him.
But if you bitch about Kennedy, you gotta bitch about Fauci.
No, I don't.
Yeah, because he's a real nut. He's the quack. He said you don't have to wear a mask, and you gotta wear a mask.
Do you know what?
1 mask, 2 masks.
Hey,
full.
Hey, RFK is even a quack because he's not a doctor. So this is what he was saying. He was saying that people with autism will never go on dates. Well, that's disputed right there because have you seen that show?
Oh, I agree. You're married, so there you go.
Well, no. Listen to me. There's a show on Netflix. It's called Love on the Spectrum. They show people with autism going on dates.
Okay, now you're turning into something a comic here.
No,
we're getting it's comic relief.
It's not
now.
comic. This is the truth.
I get it. Look,
he says that it destroys lives. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write poems. This is insane.
My grandmother lived to be 90, and she looked like Yoda. Okay, and she never had a vaccine her whole life. She never needed one. A lot of people live long and prosperous without the damn vaxes, okay? You got to add it up to get all together, okay? Maybe the beginning, they were good. Which one was the first one? Okay, it's changed since then. Okay, it's changed since then, Dean.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a vaccine.
People are more diabolical, okay? It's all about money. It's about depopulation.
I'm just trying to tell you.
I don't trust it. It could have started out good, but once Big Pharma gets in and they're starting to euthanize us, and you got to ask these questions. Why are 5-year-olds getting cancer? Why are 18-year-old kids getting heart issues? You have to question it at least.
You mean those 18-year-old kids that are drinking Red Bull from an IV?
It's not everybody doing that.
Oh, yeah?
That's not every red. No, that's a late 90s, early 2000s.
There's a lot of kids drinking that crap.
I'm not going to blame all that on Red Bull people, because that's a bunch of bull, too.
That's part of it.
Oh, Red Bull. Come on. It's the vaccines. You got to question it, man.
Then you got people in their early 20s that are mixing it with vodka.
Oh, well, look, there's always idiots out there.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of them.
And I can go home and drink a bottle of witch hazel. Okay,
I'm just saying,
no matter.
I'm just saying, he's like he's saying false things.
Look, I like some of the
He's
stuff he
stating
says.
false things.
No, I like his stance on, look, make America healthy again. You should, okay? Are they going to? I don't know, but it's a good thought. It's the
Okay.
first time that an administration has come in and is questioning the vaccine. Right. Questioning
but he's
the
doing it
food
wrong.
supply. I don't know how he's doing it wrong. If you can't, and what about the other administration? Who was the head health guy? For crying out loud, he didn't even know what gender he was. That's the last guy I want to go to for sex.
Listen to me.
Cough.
Listen, I don't know about the last people. I'm talking about the person in there right now.
I know, but you
who's
should have been
overwhelmingly
complaining about
underqualified.
He's overwhelmingly underqualified.
He's not even a doctor.
He's not even a doctor, but he's
No.
better than the last assholes who are telling us to take the vaccine, and most people are still sick.
Listen, every doctor that you know, if you ever go to a doctor, they're going to tell you to take the vaccine.
And they're
That's
all
what-
compromised.
that's what
Every
doctors
fucking
do.
single one. Only in this country.
Just telling you,
Because
that's
they're
what's gonna
all
happen.
compromised. I don't trust the medical industry. I don't. And I'm going to have somebody on here who's had a first-hand account of the bullshit. Because it's true. It's not just me speaking a conspiracy theory. It's more than that, okay?
All right.
The proof is in the pudding. Go ahead.
All right, let's talk about the, well, this was quick too, the FSU shooting yesterday.
I didn't pay attention to that because
No.
I'm tired of shootings.
Okay, well, I'm
no one
tired of
ever
it, too.
does anything
I
because
know.
it's an act of random violence. I don't know if it's a Manchurian candidate
Well-
or I don't know if it's just random. Whatever.
Okay, so Trump said it's a shame, but he's not going to do anything. Like you said, nobody's going to do anything.
What's he supposed to do?
Do you know what?
What's he supposed to do? How many presidents have we had and how many shootings have we had?
My wife says this all the time. When lives become more important than guns, then they'll do something. And,
Lives become more important than guns.
Yep. And
What are
here's-
they supposed to do?
Well,
How many regulations can you put on guns? They have a gazillion regulations on guns and they
That's-
still don't do shit.
I'm just trying to tell you, nothing is happening ever.
Nothing does.
So, and it's not just our domestic. He kills people overseas too, as we just saw.
He's continuing. He's continuing the good old military-industrial complex. It's not just him. It's the
Yeah.
last
No,
60
Yep.
fucking years.
Yep.
Although he averted a war with Iran, if that keeps up, that's good because you definitely don't want that. If Israel would have had their way, who knows?
Maybe they wouldn't
That's
be in
still-
Israel.
Yeah, well, there's a thought.
Yeah, well,
You got me on that one.
yeah. Trump wants to fire Jerome Powell.
Good. Yes, he was my asshole of the week not too long ago. Jerome Powell, as you say, Chairman Powell.
That was an accident.
Jerome Powell is a piece of scumbag. He's a fed. You know what? Get rid of the whole Federal Reserves. There we go.
Well, here's the thing.
That's a step in the right direction because he won't lower interest.
Let me ask you something. Who's
Yeah.
the asshole that hired him?
It wasn't him.
Oh my God, it was Trump.
No, well, you're talking his first administration.
Yeah, he hired him.
Well, you got to get rid of him. Yeah.
And now because he doesn't want to do what Trump wants him to do, it's just insane.
but
this guy is such a.
But look,
oh my God.
But look, there is a reason why he wants, and I'll tell you, and I explained it last time. There is a reason why he wants him to lower the interest rate. You lower the interest rate so the Federal Reserves can actually, at that time, have an opportunity to lower the debt at a lower rate, which would help and lower inflation.
And maybe that would do that if there wasn't these stupid tariffs going on right now. These are economists saying this, not me.
I know, but they're using that as an excuse.
Well-
hyperinflation's been here the last 4 years. I'm not saying that the tariffs are helping.
This is not
They're
hyperinflation.
not. We have hyperinflation.
No, we
We've had
don't.
it. What do you mean?
I've seen it in Brazil. This is not
That is
hyperinflation.
the beginning of. We don't have hyperinflation. You know how much my house cost 5 years ago?
Yeah, I understand that.
180,000. You know how much it costs today? 300. That's not inflation.
No, I
Okay.
didn't say that. I said it's not hyper.
It's inflation. It's getting
inflation.
there.
I get
it's
that.
getting there.
I understand
It's
that.
not Weimar Republic, but it's going to happen.
Well, that's what I'm
And
saying.
I don't care if
saw
Trump's
it in
in there.
Brazil. When I was down in Brazil, I'm telling you, I had a stack of money. I had millions that wasn't worth 25 cents.
I know, but it's the beginning of that. Since the 1990s, okay, the dollar has lost 90% of its purchasing power.
Yeah.
That's why gold, another
Yeah,
thing, is
that's-
3,300 an ounce.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
things like everything else is taking a shit.
Yeah. All right.
So we're back. I want to start out this segue with, like I said, the dollar, 90% of its purchasing power has been lost since the 90s. there's a reason why gold is so high. It's $3,300 an ounce, and it's possibly going to go up even more. Silver is a good buy. I'm not a financial planner, but I do play one on television. I always have to say that. And it is a great buy because I do believe that
it's a
silver
precious
is
metal.
It's precious metals. And right now it seems like gold is king. I don't know how long it's going to last. Bitcoin is still underpriced. They do believe that will bounce. I don't know when, but like you said, the tariffs aren't exactly helping. But
Well,
that's not the only problem. Oh, another thing I wanted to say, and I just remembered what nobody is talking about, and you'll hear it here first. Maybe other outlets might be talking about this, alternative media sites, but what is happening too, and it's really taking the economy, and it's scary. The Chinese are dumping the dollar. They're dumping the debt.
They are.
And it's huge. And when that happens, yeah, there's a reason why gold is $3,300 an ounce. And it's scary because it looks like the sky is falling. And I did say weeks ago on here that you might see markets topple. In the long run, I don't know how the tariffs are going to work. Possibly, maybe good. But as of now, it's kind of scary. And what I don't like is either shit or get off the pot. Either you do those tariffs or you don't. Because like I said this before, they might call his bluff. He keeps pulling back.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe there's a method to his madness.
He pulls back on stuff that his friends are in.
But,
he does.
That's a typical politician, man.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Hold on. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
But what I want to say, and please hold that thought, because you bring up a good point. Bring up a good point.
Yep.
Okay, and like I said before, there is a reason why he's doing this, and he doesn't like Powell because I said he's trying to manipulate the market to lower the rate. Now, they should lower the rate so the Federal Reserve has an opportunity to lower our debt at a lower rate, which would help inflation. Now, go ahead and talk about what you're getting ready to say.
So he put in the tariffs, and then he put that pause in, right? The stock market was plummeting. He put that pause in
manipulating it, you're saying.
Right. He put the pause in there.
Oh, he's manipulating it.
And then it shot up a little bit. Okay. And then and then of course he went back a couple days later and put the tariffs back on. And then it went back down. Now during that time,
that's market manipulating.
Okay, yeah. During that time, even his own White House press secretary, whatever that girl's name is, she said, "Oh, well, you obviously don't know the art of the deal. He did this on purpose when it was going back up." Now, to me, that's like digging a hole and then going part way out. It wasn't.
Well, like a bridge to nowhere.
Right.
That's Sarah Palin.
Just to give you an idea of this, before Trump got in there, the stock market was at 39,000. I want to say, and now it's at 18.
Yeah, it's
so.
You know what? But
anyways, during that surge, a lot of his friends made a lot of money all of a sudden. One of them being Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was worth $700,000 before that surge. Now she's worth $20 million. She says
she's the new version of Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, I agree.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah. So what she says though is that she has a financial planner.
I like to know his number.
And he handles all of her stuff, and she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know what's going on with that stuff. She has no clue.
Yeah,
give me a break.
I don't. Yeah,
I can't believe it. So this is what I would say. That once you become a congressperson, a senator, or anything to do with that stuff, the government, you should not be able to trade stocks.
No, you shouldn't. And Nancy Pelosi's a great, and
that's one of them. Yeah,
AOC, she's another one worth millions.
A lot of them.
They all are, and it is like WWF wrestling. And I got to go back to Jesse Ventura, and he knows about WWF wrestling, and he talked about how these politicians are on the same fucking team.
Yeah.
They eat off the same plate. We're over here arguing over things, and they're over there going out to dinner in the same galas. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like meet the new boss, same as the old boss. That's what it's, and there's subtle differences, But at the end of the day, I do agree with you on that. Is there's got to be term limits, which Trump talked about, but that's hold his feet to the fire. I'm not saying he's going to do that. I don't drink the Kool-Aid.
He thinks he's going to do a third term.
Okay, well,
if he's alive,
well, that's a Roosevelt maneuver. Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah, but that wasn't in the Constitution then.
I know. Well, then they wrote it in. It's kind of what lawyers do, loopholes, man.
I understand that.
Okay, now it's legal. Well, it wasn't legal. How is it legal? Because somebody wrote it in the law. Okay, that's kind of bullshit. But what I wanted to say about how they all, there should be term limits, and they shouldn't be able to invest, like you said, because they have so much power that they get bought out.
Right.
And they can manipulate things, and
and they do.
It's
and
not
they
right.
do.
Well, you and I can't do it.
No, well, we'd be in jail.
Of course.
We'd be in El Salvador.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, you know what? I think I'd rather go to El Salvador than San Francisco right now. I can tell you that. San Francisco's pretty bad.
Oh, you mean the streets?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Nevertheless. But, yeah, as we were
Well,
talking.
all the drug addicts.
Well.
I've seen that they got the tents where you could just go get free drugs.
Yeah,
there.
sure, right.
That's crazy.
That's a.
I never thought I'd see that.
That's a haven for a druggie, for sure.
Yeah.
Strawberry Fields.
Yeah, that's just sad.
Yeah, I know,
So
it is.
sad.
But that's, the downfall of Western civilization. And it's been falling for a while. It hasn't happened. I mean, it's happening. It just hasn't happened overnight. But San Francisco was like the Paris of the West, man.
Oh, I know it.
In the 50s
Oh,
and
I was there.
60s. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. I just can't believe
I was
how
there in the
bad-
90s. It was nice.
It's crazy.
Well, yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah, I know. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket. We know that.
That's not good. Oh, Marco Rubio. He says
Little
that-
Marco.
you remember Mr. and Mrs. Marco's, or Mr. and Mrs. Rubio, little boy Marco. He says that the U.S. will drop peace talks for Ukraine and Russia if something doesn't happen within the next few weeks.
Oh, he did say that.
Yep, he is saying,
really?
he's basically saying that both parties are not cooperating, don't want to talk, and he says that's it. We're gonna drop out.
And America's not going to be involved no more with Ukraine.
Don't know that.
Oh, okay, I
just
don't
says
mind
peace
that.
talks.
Just take our money out. We don't need to be involved there. Chevron already made billions of dollars.
I don't know why we're involved.
Well, we know because resources, money.
No, still.
It's bullshit. Regardless, and that it's funny how Ukraine has been very quiet lately. But I did kind of read an article on the way here talking about. I think Trump is getting ready to sign that rare earth mineral deal, and apparently with Ukraine.
Oh, okay.
And apparently Zelensky is not even in the room. They're not even negotiating with him. Like I said, I think he's done.
Oh, Zelensky?
Yeah, he's done because he wasn't a part of the negotiations.
I don't know.
He's a puppet. Come on. He's a
Well,
puppet.
just because he wasn't part of the negotiations doesn't mean he's done.
Well,
it
I
means
think
that they just don't care.
Well, he's done. That tells me that he's not influential at all.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't.
Not even the puppet masters want to deal with him. I don't think.
We have.
Who doesn't even wear a suit to the frickin' White House? I mean, come on. Even Bill Maher
He's
went
at
to the White House
He's at
and wore a
war.
suit.
He's at war. That's why.
He's at war.
Yeah.
Come on. He's like Saddam Hussein. He's a hired puppet.
I've never seen him in a suit.
No, I know.
And Hussein wore a suit a couple times.
Yeah, sometimes. But all these dictators, like they have this image of being like this leader, like
Gaddafi?
like Gaddafi,
Yeah,
like
uniform.
Osama bin Laden. Or no way, he wasn't.
No.
But he was a puppet of the West. Well, he was working for the CIA. I'm sorry. Saddam. Hold on, Saddam Hussein and who's the other guy that always dressed like? Oh yeah,
Idi
Fidel
Amin?
Oh
Oh, yeah,
okay,
Fidel.
dressed like all the dictators.
Idi Amin.
Zelensky's the same thing. I mean, he's a
I don't think he's a dictator.
he's oh come on, man. They're recruiting little kids to fight his stupid war. They're kidnapping them and putting them on the front line. How is that not being a dictator? Well, he's a puppet.
Sounds like it's a dick.
He's a fucking dick, all right. But he is reading from a teleprompter and telling them, come on.
I'm just saying I don't know that stuff.
Well, I do.
Okay.
Because I know the way the world works.
Alrighty.
That cockroach.
Anyways, oh yeah, I think that's about it right now. Unless there's breaking news.
I don't know about breaking news, but it is time for Asshole of the Week.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, and I did elaborate on Asshole of the Week. And it really upsets me that you have the CDC still pushing that vax that has killed 38,000 kids, and from what Dean said, 200,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and any other time there's a product out there that would kill one or two people, there'd be a black label. I don't know why there's not a label on these vaccines. And shame on your doctor if he's telling you to still take this vaccine. I would get a second opinion. Oh, for sure. I wouldn't go to that doctor anymore. No. Let's be truthful, okay? It's not working. I would take my chances by not taking this vaccine. And yes, assholes of the week are the CDC, and the top one. And I do think Trump did nominate her. If I'm not, she's the director, Susan Menteriz. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I looked her up, and there's a whole bunch of people under her. I couldn't believe how many people were a part of the CDC. And she is a PhD, and she should know that this thing is killing people. I'm not going to give it to my kid. I wouldn't give it to my dog. So it really bugs me that they're still trying to push this damn thing. And the illness isn't as bad as it was, or even if it was as bad as they say, it wasn't. So yes, the CDC, you're my assholes of the week. That's right, Susan. I don't care if Trump did nominate you. You're horrible. Quit pushing the poison. Not good. So I got that out of the way.
Okay. Just so you know, a second opinion is not going to do you any good. They're going to tell you the same thing.
You might have to go out of the
I'm just
country.
trying to tell you, the next doctor's going to say the same thing.
But you know what? I remember I went to the urgent care. It was about 2 months ago. I don't know if I told you. And there was a doctor. I had to get my ears cleaned.
Oh.
And I started. I told him we had a podcast. I think he's also a viewer. Mm-hmm. And if he's listening or watching, I'd like to have him on the show. Maybe I should call him. I don't know if he's busy or not. But I remember him telling me that during all that stuff, he was prescribing people ivermectin.
I don't know what that is.
Ivermectin was helping people with the corona. And he got a call from one of the companies and said, why are you prescribing this? They were strong-arming him and threatening him. So that was real. And I'm not going to forget that. And that's the government, and that's these agencies that want to strong-arm us into believing something. And I have a strong opinion on that. And it's scary that our government has become so authoritarian like that they're telling doctors not to prescribe something that works. That's a problem for me, big time. And that's why I do compare them to Nazis at times. I know you have a problem with that. Well, I know. Yeah. Let me finish. I know. But in a way, this is crimes against humanity. It's what Nuremberg was about. They were pushing things on people they didn't want to do. And I feel as though we're heading that way again. And it's very scary. You know. And I don't like it. Not one bit.
Well.
But you keep looking at your phone. Tell your wife
I was
you'll
looking
be
up
home in an hour.
I was looking up ivermectin.
Okay, yeah, ivermectin is helping people.
I'm going to read that.
I know my sister-in-law took that when she got sick, so I know it works.
Well,
and he was prescribing me.
I did take the vaccine. I did get that vaccine.
You got one?
Yes, Pfizer.
Good.
As soon as I took it, my arm was wet because it was Pfizer. Well, here's the thing.
If that's the case, then
I got the vaccine. I took the vaccine, and I want to say about 3 or 4 months later, I got COVID. But I was sick for, I want to say 3 days. I didn't get out of bed, and then after that, I was fine. My son got the vaccine. He had COVID 1 day. So I think your age has something to do with it too.
I never got the vaccine. I never got sick.
Yeah, you're lucky. I know. Good
my
for
mom,
you. I think that's great.
My mom, 85, never got the vaccine, never got sick.
Yep.
My brother, we had the flu.
My mom and dad both got they didn't get the vaccine. They both got sick.
I just think that
and then,
your immune system can fight a lot.
It depends. Because I had 2 cousins die. It's a respiratory thing. They both had asthma, I believe.
I
One
know.
was diabetic.
I know people that have gotten cancer from the...
And then my aunt and uncle both passed away from that as well. And they no vaccine.
Kaz's brother, Kaz, who was a guest on here,
yep.
His brother got 2 or 3 after the third
Vaccines.
one. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, the corona thing.
Oh,
the
corona.
The corona, not the flu
thing.
He got the corona vaccine. After the third one, he had a stroke.
The vaccine?
Yeah.
Okay.
The COVID vaccine.
Okay. How old was he?
I want to say he was our age, early 50s. And not to mention, he wasn't the only one. I know someone really close my ex's cousin, she's got every vax you can think of, has breast cancer, right after. And those are just, second-hand accounts. First-hand accounts. And like I said, I'm so scared about this because I know it's not just the shots, it's in the environment too, which is scary, the food. And I know you agree with that.
Some things, yeah, absolutely.
The aspartame,
Sure.
they know what they're doing.
Yep.
Okay, and it really bugs me. And the reason why they stopped putting, we were talking about, they're stopped putting some additives into stuff, the high fructose corn syrup, is because of people like me and you that went to Washington 10 years ago, and I remember this, and they started protesting. That's the grassroots movement we need.
Yeah.
And once you get politicians involved, it's destroyed. Once you get race involved, it's destroyed.
Yeah, it's sad.
Once you get class warfare involved, it's destroyed.
And that's
how they divide
That's how they
everybody.
do. Yeah, that's why there's such division now.
Right, exactly.
I mean, Trump was a master at that. He divided this country like you wouldn't believe.
You know what?
He did.
I mean, the media didn't help.
Okay. Well, no, I think the media helped him a lot.
No, divide the country.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I mean. The media. Yeah. I mean, look at Bill Maher. He went to and he's a classic liberal. And let me finish. He went to the White House and goes, you know what? I'm surprised.
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't think he was like that. And now he's even starting to freaking realize that, it's all staged. Because the stuff they show you on TV, they make him look like the devil in carnage. They do
Incarnate.
that. No, that's the way I pronounce it. I'm from Soviet Union. Shut up. They make him look like the devil, man, and it's deliberately done that way. Just to get everybody.
Or he just acted like that in front of Bill Maher.
Yeah, well,
we don't know.
I don't. But Bill Maher is a total classic liberal. Yeah. He believes in some of the, but
he's not. But even he don't go all the way to the left.
No, he don't,
Yeah.
and that's what I like, and
too.
That's why he's like, look, I'm just a comedian, but the
Right.
the Democrats
Just like us.
Well, if you want to call us that, more like a train wreck. But no, but what I'm trying to say is the Democrats really destroyed themselves, and that's what he's saying.
Oh yeah, they did.
Nobody's going to vote for this shit.
No, no.
Nobody's going to vote for their ideology.
Well,
But
no.
I'm just saying, I get it, man. Everybody's compromised one way or another.
All right. Well,
That's our show?
I think so. What do you think?
Yes. Are you going to be here next week, or are you going?
Ooh, I will be gone.
Oh, okay. You're going to gay camp?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Actually, I'm going to Germany and Austria.
How dare you insult me like that? No toys for the children.
I'll be sending you pictures.
You're going to send me home.
I'll send you
please.
pictures. No,
I don't want to
seriously.
get arrested.
No, you won't.
Where is your visa?
I'm gonna have nice pictures.
Who are you? You should be more concerned about getting out of here alive. That's what they're going to tell you when they...
You have your papers with you?
Your papers.
It'd
Go
be
ahead.
better for you if you have your papers, which is what is happening here. It's not over there. Here.
So you're going and you're spending 2 weeks, right?
10 days.
10 days.
So I'm leaving Friday, coming back the next Sunday.
And you'll be on the front line in Ukraine in 12 days.
I hope not.
Well, hello, comrade. How are you?
No.
Hold the gun. Shoot, point. How many fingers I have? He's clear. Snortish.
We don't say-
Snortish.
In my mother's country, they don't say comrade, they say compadre.
Compadre.
Yes. So that won't work.
So then
But
you're not
anyways,
going to be here for 2
weeks.
Okay.
The next 2 weeks I won't be here.
And next week I might have a fill-in for you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Probably Obama maybe might
could
come
have-
in, but I don't know if he's coming.
You can have Rick or Kaz.
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh, no, that's fine. I'm going to have a fill-in, and we're probably going to try to get that lady on here to talk about what the protocol and the thing that happened to her husband. So it's going to be a good show, and I hope you have a good trip.
Thank you. I will.
Okay?
Thank you very
All right.
much.
And thanks, everybody, for joining us.